Hi everyone, Donna here with Bookkeeping Made Simple. I've got the coolest email and I want to share it with you. And I want to talk about, I want to answer her question. So as always, if you enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. Your sharing and subscribing and everything really helps me grow my channels. This show is available on YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, few other places. I don't know all the places I have it up anymore. I'm gonna have to make a list and put it up here so I can tell you. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, this is supposed to be going out to all of them. So I wanted to talk about this wonderful email I got. It's the kindest email, and it is from Ariana. She emailed in and said that she had been listening to the podcast for several episodes. She found it very valuable, and she actually went to my website to find my email address. Ariana, I don't know why you went to all that trouble. It's listed in the description. That's okay. That tells me that you are that have some initiative. So basically, she was asking about a mentoring program. She says, "Sorry guys, I'm old. I need the glasses." She said, "I was wondering if you'd be open to offering guidance on how to start or serving as a mentor to someone like myself who aspires to start their own bookkeeping business." So, Ariana, I don't currently have a mentoring program. This is something that you're actually the second person that's asked me for this. So obviously there's a demand for it. So I am going to start developing one. Now you may be wondering why I don't just say, yes, of course I'll mentor you. I have to have a plan. Okay, so in order to mentor someone starting a business, for myself, because of the way my mind thinks, and I've mentioned to you guys before, I've been told by a psychiatrist that I have ADHD. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I just know that there's days when I cannot get any work done, and it's frustrating. For myself, I have to have at least a list. I have to be able to know what comes next. So, and even though I could probably do it without that, I would really want to offer a very valuable service. So there's some things in the pipeline that will be coming up that I'm working on. These are going to take some time to bring to fruition, so to speak. One is a mentorship program. Okay. Another one is an opportunity to franchise or license my business. I will talk about the second one in a later video when it's closer to coming about. For the first one, mentorship takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work on the mentor's part, and it takes a lot of work on the mentee's part. So this is not something I'm inclined to offer for free. However, I will be offering some courses on how to effectively be a good bookkeeper, and some kind of background. Again, I have to have a list because my mind goes everywhere all at once, like the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's my brain. There's a lot that goes into business ownership. So when I develop the mentorship program, as I'm developing it, some of the things that I'm really going to want to dial in are some of the administrative stuff. So yes, you have to have your business license. You have to be registered with your state. You have to be, you have to have your own books in order. You have to have a marketing plan. You have to have a way of serving your clients. You have to have a way of hiring people. Not everybody is cut out to be a business owner, and that's okay. As you're considering opening a business, and I don't really, I mean, I do consider myself successful, but I want to be about 10 times more successful than I am. Some of the things you will want to consider What are your goals? And by that, I mean, are you just trying to make enough money to feed your family? Because that's really where I started. But I already had an entrepreneurial mindset. I had one because my parents were entrepreneurs. My dad has owned his own business with my mom as his administrative assistant. Or maybe I should say, my dad owned his own business and my mom was the administrator. She took care of everything and he just went out and did the jobs. And then my mom had her own business. She had a consignment clothing store that she and a friend of hers ran for several years and did quite well at. But so I already had this baked in that I don't have to go find a job. I can create a job. If you don't have that mindset, your parents don't have to be entrepreneurs to have this mindset. You just have to have the mindset that I want to own my own business. I want to build an empire. This, I know what it's going to take, because I promise you, it's going to take 10 times the work you think it's going to take. It's going to cost 10 times the money you think you're going to make, but it will be 10 times more rewarding in the end. As I often say, and I'm speaking as a mother of 5 children, business ownership is like parenthood. It is the most challenging, hardest job you will ever love. So you have to start there. If you really want to own a business, it needs to be something more than a side hustle. Now, there's nothing wrong with side hustles. I'll say that right now. But if that's what you want, then maybe you're not going to put this much effort into it. Maybe you only need 5 or 10 clients to be able to pay your bills. And that's fine. Okay, I'm going to emphasize that. That is fine. So in the mentorship program, I will be going over every single step of how to start your business, what your mindset should be. Again, it cannot be the same as if you're working a 9-to-5 W-2 type of a job. You have to have the right mindset. And the right mindset is, I'm never going to settle. Okay. You also have to be very discerning about who your mentors are. My top mentors are wildly successful in their fields. They are people like Kevin Nations, Ryan Stewman, Andy Frisella, Zig Ziglar. I've read all of his books. Tony Robbins. You need to understand that you need to do a ton of personal development to own a business. I mean, seriously, a ton. You have to have an open mind. You have to really be constantly trying to learn. If you want to sit down and do the same job over and over again, then bookkeeping can be a nice side hustle if you know what you're doing. And I'm saying that because I've gotten emails and phone calls and I've gotten books from largely women, not always, who have treated bookkeeping as a side hustle. One lady had a full-blown business that she was marketing and everything, had an office even. And when I went into the books that she did, I was mortified at the mess that she made. So that's one of the things you need to understand about accounting. It's easy to do, but it's also really easy to screw up, particularly using QuickBooks. QuickBooks is very easy to use, but it's very, very, very easy to make a lot of mistakes that you're going to have to pay someone thousands of dollars to fix. So all of this is going to be covered in my coaching program. Also, some of the things that you will need to understand, you will have to spend money. You will have to spend money for dues and subscriptions that are going to be useful to you. You're going to have to spend money. And by the way, I always recommend having a separate business phone number. It can still ring into your cell phone, but you need a separate business phone number, and you need a place to work that's separate from your household. In my case, I have an extra bedroom. I have a whole extra floor actually in my house. We moved into this big house when my kids were still at home, and we just haven't moved out yet. We haven't downsized. So I do have a lot of extra space. So I have an office where I can come in and I can shut the door. Everything's private. But there were times when I didn't, and it made it very difficult. And it gave me some concerns about privacy issues because I have clients that depend on me to keep things confidential. By the way, when I preach working from anywhere, you do have to keep in mind, if you work in an industry where confidentiality is important, you will have to take steps to make sure that is maintained. That's not saying you can't ever work in a coffee shop, but it does mean you might have to invest in like privacy screens for your laptop so that people can't peek over and see what you're doing. You might have to invest in you need to be very aware of what people around you are doing, because this information that we work with is confidential. So we have to be very careful about it. So there's things that I can do in a coffee shop. I can work on my marketing plans in there all day. But I don't ever do accounting somewhere that's not private. So you need to know the regulations surrounding your business. So as an uncredentialed tax preparer, I need to be aware of what I can and can't do. Excuse me, as a bookkeeper, I needed to be aware of what I could and couldn't do. And as a non-CPA accountant, so I do private accounting, not public accounting, I have to be aware of what I can and cannot do. The one thing that I cannot do with the education that I currently have and the credentials that I currently have, I cannot work with a publicly traded firm. And I cannot audit. Okay, so I mean, I can do informal audits. I do those all the time. I go through clients' books and I tell them where their deficiencies are, but that's not something that's certified. So I cannot issue an audit to the SEC because I'm not a certified public accountant, and I'm not licensed to practice before the SEC or the IRS. So I have to keep that in mind. By the way, I will be taking my EA test very soon. Also, okay. So there's a lot of things that really kind of go into that. Also, you will need to be aware that it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of energy. I really am kind of baffled at a lot of these so-called side hustles that they're able to make evidently really good money without anything happening behind the scenes. So just understand that when you own a business, a lot of times it takes a lot of time to get your first client, to make sure that that client is happy, by the way, I'm not saying this to discourage anyone, but I really want you to understand what goes into it. When I started my business, I was already fortunate in that I had come from being part of a friend's business. He's now essentially my brother-in-law. Okay, so I knew how to go get clients because I've been working with him. I knew how to serve those clients because I was his head bookkeeper. We just had a disagreement about what my role in the business was, and we decided that our friendship was way more important than the business. So when I went my own way, I really already kind of knew what to do. The mentorship program that I'm putting together is going to be a turnkey program. So all you will need to do is follow the steps. And I'm really looking at creating a turnkey program with a licensing agreement, possibly. Okay, these are things I'm just looking into. I'm kind of ranting at this point. So I am looking into doing some things to make it very easy for new bookkeepers and new accountants to start their own practice, attract clients. All they have to do is follow the program. So keep an eye out. I am working on that. Understand that's not something that's going to be rolled out next week. It is going to take some time. It's a very labor-intensive process. Very time consuming, but that's okay. I think it'll be worth it. And again, Ariana, thank you so much for your email. And with that, talk to you soon.